Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Sean J. Harris, Generation Wealth Academy. Watching the news story this morning, and I recorded because I want to make some teaching points here. First and foremost, I take my hats off and congratulate this gentleman who's worked for 50 years in the industry, same job, but he's 70 years old. So there's some things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to press pause along the video just to make points of illustration to share with you that the mindset has to shift. We have to have a paradigm shift as the way we think about successes from our parents and grandparents' generation to the current generation and the future generations, because money is not made the same way. Okay, we have a scholastic education, we have professional education, but more so we have financial education. And financial education is where we start learning business acumen and start learning fundamentals about finances and success. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play the video. I'm going to kind of stop it and talk about it as we go along.
Put in the muscle and built those arenas. Channel 2's Barrett Peterson introduces us to a key player behind them.
Clyde Smith says where he lived, there weren't any.
I grew up like in South Georgia. I was like Tipton, Georgia.
He'd never seen a big sports stadium until he moved to Atlanta. He decided he wanted to help build them. And for the last 5 decades, he has. He's an engineering technician. He inspected the concrete foundations of Turner Field, the Georgia Dome, State Farm Arena. And he has a favorite.
The last one, Mercedes-Benz, because I did a lot.
Be like Clyde. Perfect example.
Longtime friend Sheila Bryant says while the athletes who played in those places are considered heroes, so is Clyde.
Now, I'm going to pause for a second. Keep in mind, he has worked for 5 decades. I just turned 50 last year, and I can remember back being a childhood. It seemed like that was forever ago. So I just couldn't imagine working in a profession at the same company for 50 years with anticipation of some great outcome. So I'm going to go ahead and continue the video here.
A true role model, she says, for younger black men.
Stay encouraged and just keep serving. And I promise you it'll pay off. He's a perfect example.
Now, I'm going to stop it here again. We've all been taught just keep trudging, keep your hand to the plow, and just keep your head down and keep working, work. It's the difference between working hard and working smart. And so many times we've always been taught the harder you work, the better the payoff is going to be. And that is not necessarily true, because it takes the same amount of work to make $25,000 in a month than it does to make $25,000 in a year. It's even easier to make $25,000 in a week than it is to make $25,000 in a month. It's not about how hard you work, it's how smart and intelligent you work.
He didn't let nothing stop him. 50 years?
And with the same company to boot. Different
Now, this
owners over that time, but same place.
So this gentleman worked at the same company for 50 years, and they said that the management had changed. So there's nothing really to brag or boast about outworking ownership of a company. They've turned over ownership a few times in those 50 years, but he's still there to no avail. So the thing is, it's like if companies see fit that they need to move and grow and develop and look at new avenues of expansion, why wouldn't you as an employee see the same thing if you're trying to reach your goals? But so many times we get so stuck in this way of thinking that we have to put our all into this one company and give them more than what they're putting in. See, you can't have a dream for someone else and expect you to reach your dreams. In every job, there's one dream. That's the dream of the business owner. And in everybody's life, a dream will be fulfilled. Either you're going to fulfill your own dream in life, or you're going to fulfill the dream of somebody else's dream. But everyone's life will take part in fulfilling the dream.
Been blessed, throughout my career. So, it makes you want to stay and not just hop around. Sometimes, the pay could be greater on the other side, but if your company shows I like the love, that appreciation, it kind of helps to how to stick something out.
No, let me start right there for a second. He just talked about staying at a company, not hopping around and being loyal to the company. But keep in mind, companies are not loyal to you. How many times you've been asked to leave a 2-week notice, but does a company give you 2-week notice if they're going to fire you, replace you, or downsize your position? Rarely do they ever do that. So again, we have to get out of the mindset of thinking you have to put so much loyalty in a company that's not putting loyalty back into you.
Peterson, Channel 2 Action News, Sunday a.m.
So Clyde is about to turn 70 and he has no plans to retire. Good for you, sir.
Now, that was the most disturbing part of the news story. 70 years old, and he has no plans on retiring. There's so many things that you can do for yourself where you do need to retire and enjoy life, but not to continue working for a company beyond your 70s. I don't think we were put here to work for another person at 70 years old and beyond. At that point, you need to be living for your family, having time and money freedoms, kind of doing the cool things you want to see. So these are things that we teach in Generational Wealth Academy, is that we're showing families, individuals, how to create different environments for success, have different roads that you can take, and you don't just have to take the same old axiom of go to school, get good grades, go get a good job, and everything will be okay, because that doesn't work. That was back during the industrial era. Guys, we are beyond the super information highway now, and creating success and money just doesn't work this way anymore. So, if you're in a position where you want to create legacy wealth, generational wealth, indestructible wealth for your families, let's link up, let's talk about some things, and start building a blueprint and a trajectory where you and your family can achieve time and money freedoms through entrepreneurship or other financial tools that will create you wealth. All right, guys. Dr. Sean J. Harris.